Hi, welcome everyone. In this video lecture, we are going to discuss about database schema and what is meant by a three schema architecture. So before we go into this video, what is meant by a schema? Schema is an collection of database. How you are going and it is a relation of database. How you are going to design a database. That is in which way you are going to design a database. In previous video, we have seen what are the concepts of databases and characteristics as well as advantages and disadvantages, and we will be telling that in the traditional way we will be using a file processing system, and now we came across for a database system. So we have to know what is the design of a database. The term is called as a schema. So whereas in the database schema we will call as a database design. It is nothing but a database schema. That is, the database schema is nothing but an overall design of a database is called as a database schema. The overall design in the case, it deals with the constructing of database, manipulating a database, as well as designing a database. That is called as an overall design. It is not only a database construction. It deals with the manipulation of database as well as the design of a database. So it is specified during a database design and it is not expected to change frequently. So once we are going to go design a database, we have to fix how we are going to design our schema. It should be done in the initial phase. So whereas we are discussing about schema, there are three types of schemas are there. Physical schema. It deals with only a physical level. Next one, logical schema. It deals about the logical level of the database design. Subschema. It deals with the view of the database, how the database can be viewed. Database has several schemas at the view level. Database instance, that is a collection of information stored in a database at a particular moment of time, is known as a database instance or a database snapshot. That is nothing but we call it as an entity or an object. What are the collection of object we are going to have in a database? That is called as a database instance. Data independence, which can be defined as the capacity to change the schema at one level. We already know there are three levels of schema: physical, logical, as well as subschema. So if there is some issue, we know we will be changing a schema in design process. So we will be having some data independence. That is the capacity to change the schema at one level of database system without having to change the schema at next higher level. So we know it is a related one where each and every level is a related, but it having some data independence. You can change in the one schema which will not be affected for the higher level schemas. So type of independence, what are the independence we will deal with? Logical independence as well as physical independence. Logical data independence is the capacity to change the conceptual schema without having to change external schemas or application programs. Physical data independence is the capacity to change the internal schema without having to change the conceptual schema. That is, we can use both type of data independence and we can use some set of changes in the any level of database systems. So next we go for three schema architecture. The database system is a collection of interrelated data. There is a similar data and a set of programs that allows the user to access and modify these data. The major purpose of database system is to provide users with an abstract view of the data. The system hides details of how the data are stored and maintained. The goal of three schema architecture is to separate the user application from the physical database. So in this architecture, the schemas are defined at three levels. We already know that physical, logical, and sub schema level. That is nothing but a different view of the database. So we will call as a view level. Whereas we will be replacing by another name called internal level, conceptual level, as well as external level. So here you can see how the design of database, that is a database schemas, can be fitted. Whereas in the first internal level, it will be consist of stored databases. Next to internal level, we have a conceptual databases where it deals with the mapping. Then from the conceptual, it will have a multiple users. So it is an external view where the multiple users can be using a database. So it is nothing but an end user. So this is the way how the design of a database. So if there is any some set of changes to be done in any one of the schema, there we will have a data independence to change the schema. It will not going to affect the next higher level schema. This is the first level, that is a physical level. It describes how the data are stored. It is a lower level of abstraction. The physical level describes the complex low level data structures and access the paths for database in detail. Conceptual level or logic level describes what data are stored in the database, what relationships exist among these database. So when the name defines logic, so we will be having some set of database called as a student as well as a teacher. So what is the relationship between the student and the teacher? The course is a relationship. So it will be mentioned in this level. It is a next level of abstraction, whereas in the previous physical is a lower level of abstraction. So this conceptual schema hides the details of physical storage structures and concentrates on describing the entities. Entities is nothing but objects, data types, relationships, user operations and constraints. The user of logical level does not need to aware the complex physical level structure. It is referred as a physical data independence. Next we go for external level, that is a view level from the user view. It describes only the part of entire database. It includes a number of external schemas or user reviews. Example, consider the instructor relation. So the instructor is an object or entity. Whereas in the bracket we have given the ID, comma name, comma department and salary. These are the attributes which belongs to the object or entity called instructor. So each and every instructor will have an ID, instructor will have a name, instructor will have a department, which department he or she belongs to, and what is the salary of the instructor monthly paid. In physical level, the records of relation can be described as a block of consecutive storage locations. The database system hides many of the lowest level storage details from the database programmers. The database administrator may be aware of certain details of physical organization of the data. When we come to the logic level, we told here we will be discussing about the logic. So each instructor record is described by a type definition. So some set of definition we will be giving in this logic level. Type instructor equal to record. So we are going to have some set of database which belongs to the instructor. So already in the previous slide I have told instructor will have an attribute of ID, name and department salary. So we will be giving some set of data types for that attributes. ID which have a character of 5. So 5 characters can be given as a ID. Name, it has a 20 character. So length of the name should be a 20 character. Department as a character 2. Salary numeric comma 8.2. It have some set of decimal function floating can be added. Then we will be giving a end. So here we will be using a logic. This is a next level of abstraction. Where in the physical it is lower level, it is a next higher level. The programmers and database administrator usually work at this level of abstraction. So we will be working in this level of abstraction. That is, we will be writing a query. We will be giving a values for the query and the data can be stored. So here only the programmer will work. Next is the view level. That is a serial view of the database are defined. So view in the case end user will be seeing the database and how the data can be stored. So in this videos you have learned about the schemas, that is an design of a database, how the database design should be. It should be in 3 level, that is physical, logical and sub level. Sub level is nothing but a view level. How we are explaining it as a external, conceptual and internal levels. Thank you.